It was the summer of 1968, 770 Eastern Parkway. I got to see the Rebbe in a meeting that changed my life. I asked the Rebbe my questions, which were the questions of a young sophomore student. And the Rebbe gave me answers. He got through them quite rapidly, as if he really wanted to get to the point which my questions ended and his questions began. And that was the extraordinary moment when he suddenly did a role reversal. How many Jewish students were there at Cambridge? How many came along to the Jewish Society? We estimated in those days there were about 1,000 Jewish students, about 100 came to the Jewish Society, so we were losing 90% of our Jewish students. And the Rebbe started saying, and what are you doing about it? And I really didn't expect this because I never saw myself as a leader or somebody involved in, as it were, reaching out. And I suddenly realized the Rebbe was challenging me to go and lead. Instead of complaining about things in Jewish life, to do something to make Jewish life better.
Wie bald, als hat a Idee mekon ufton, in dem Minium von Niedigkeit, zieh das ist in Limud der Teure, zieh das ist in Kima Mitzvahs, bis a vielen in Jone Horeshus, die Gufe, was es der Gangen, das Gufe ist a Hoche, a das ist a Naveda, a Schliches, was darf durchführen.
A year or so later, I graduated as a student. And that meeting was still with me. And so instead of going straight into a career, I went off to Kfar Chabad to learn in the Lubavitch yeshiva there. Just before going out there, I just got engaged. And I realized that if I stay in this place for a very long time, I'm going to become a completely different person, which was okay by me, but it wasn't fair on the lady that I got engaged to. And so after we'd got married and I'd had a career teaching secular philosophy, it still wouldn't let me sleep at night. That meeting and the content of that meeting stayed with me and haunted me from time to time.
Das ist der Zav Hasho und der Drishas Hasho und der Hechrech Hasho, wo ma viele haben, Mekayim Nefesh Achas Misrael, is Echet Mekayim Kilo Kiyim Elo Mole.
I stopped teaching philosophy and studied for smicha. And I went to see the Rebbe. I felt the time has come for the next big moment in my life. What do I do? My choices were, should I become an academic? Should I become an economist, or should I become a lawyer? And he said no to being an academic, no to being an economist, no to being a lawyer. He said, your job is to teach rabbis.
Die Rabboni, was sie seine Mehrer Mumche in Jone Iser Veheter. Die Rabboni, was sie seine Mehrer Mumche in Jone Moment. Al derer sehe sechet Rabboni, was die Jikre seine se Mumche. Was sie zum Matzel seine Forsches mit Israel. Al Idee Hapotzes Hatero mit Svesel in Jone Yadus Bichlal, was sechet Kilo bechol derchecho doheu. Das verlangt doch einen speziellen Zugang, bedarf keine und betekent Hamas mit allen Unionen, was mir darf mefid sein Yahadus.
He said, that's your job. You have to go to Jews college, you have to train rabbis. And because they will have to learn from you not just what you need to learn to be a rabbi, but also how to do things like give sermons. Essentially, you sent me the task of becoming a congregational rabbi and at the same time teaching congregational rabbis for smicha. Now, when I came back to Anglo-Jewry, of course, I immediately discovered that such a thing was not possible in Anglo-Jewry. If you were a congregational rabbi, you could not take even 1 hour of paid employment outside of being your congregational rabbi. I went back and told my Rav, who was the head of Jews College, Rabbi Nachum Rabinovich, Rabbi Meliubavitch was anything but a Lubavitcher Chassid. But as soon as he heard that, he said, if the Rebbe said it, that's what you have to do. He picked up the phone to the chief rabbi, Lord Jacobovitz, and told him the story and said, if it's against the rules of the United Synagogue, you're just going to have to change the rules of the United Synagogue. Rabbi Jacobovitz heard that from him, agreed, phoned up the president of the United Synagogue, told him, we're going to have to change the rules of the United Synagogue, and it was done.
Die alle, was vernehmen sich mit Askonis Ziburis, darfen wissen sein, das tun sie eske bezorche Zibur be'emuno, sich neise fafen Pirush HaPoshut, als tut das Askonis mit Emuno, nichts lieb verschiedene, Pnis, Bilte Teheres, nur rechet be'emuno, verwas es anesig bezorche Zibur, dafür was gelebt in dem Eibischen. Und wie bald als gelebt in dem Eibischten, aber der Eibischte hat mal weggestellt, in Asamid, Maimid und Matze, was konnte, in solche Zibur, ist das gut für Parem Eichoch und das für Parem genug, als darf, als tun.
In 1990, I was a candidate to be chief rabbi in Britain and the Commonwealth. I was very unsure. I mean, that's a big job for somebody who did not initially plan to be a rabbi. I felt also it was a family decision. What did Elaine, my wife, feel about it? It's big public exposure. So I said to Elaine, do I have your permission to ask the Rebbe? Because when you ask the Rebbe, you do what he says. This is not just advice. There is a man who really understands the global picture, and when he tells you to do something, you have to do it. Elaine said yes, and so I wrote to the Rebbe, putting the pros and the cons, the reasons for, the reasons against. And then I wrote, should I, if offered the job, accept it? He answered without writing a single word. He had the typographical symbol for reverse word order, and he wrote it around the word should I. In other words, his answer was, I should.
Last night in London, Jonathan Sacks became the new chief rabbi, a figurehead for the whole of Anglo Jewry, and one of the most influential rabbis in the world.
The Rebbe taught me something very important, that the most transformative moments in your life happen when somebody else believes in you more than you believe in yourself.